Charlie Munger died in 2023 at age 99, just 1 month shy of his 100th birthday. But before he passed, he and Warren Buffett built Berkshire Hathaway into a $780 billion empire, with just 25 employees in their head office. 25 people running the 14th largest company in the world by revenue. How? Munger had a system, not a flashy one, not one he marketed, but a rigorous, disciplined mental framework that separated him from everyone else. Today, we're revealing the 7 rules that Munger followed religiously, the same rules the world's wealthiest investors use but rarely discuss openly. Rule 1. Build a latticework of mental models. Most people try to solve every problem with the same tool. Munger did the opposite. He built what he called a latticework of mental models, a framework of 80 to 90 thinking tools drawn from multiple disciplines: psychology, economics, physics, biology, mathematics, and engineering. Here's his insight. You can't really know anything if you just remember isolated facts. You need to hang your knowledge on an interconnected web of models that work together. As Munger said, if you don't do this, many of the brightest people will live in the middle ranks or in the shallows. Think of it like this. If you only have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. But if you have an entire toolkit and know when to use each tool, you can solve complex problems others can't even see. This multidisciplinary approach was Munger's secret weapon. He could analyze investments from angles his competitors never considered, combining insights from human psychology with economic principles and mathematical probability. The wealthy don't just accumulate money, they accumulate mental models. Rule 2. Invert. Always invert. This rule comes from German mathematician Carl Jacobi, who said, "Man muss immer umkehren." Invert. Always invert. Munger made this his mantra. Instead of asking, "How do I succeed?" Munger asked, "How do I fail?" Instead of, "How do I make money?" he asked, "How do I lose money?" Then he systematically avoided those paths. During World War II, Munger worked as a meteorologist. His job was clearing pilots for flights. He didn't ask, "How do I help pilots succeed?" He asked, "How could I kill pilots?" The answer was simple. Ice them up in cold weather or send them where they'd run out of fuel. So he avoided those scenarios at all costs, and likely saved lives. This is how the ultra-wealthy think. They spend less time chasing brilliance and more time avoiding stupidity. As Munger put it, it's remarkable how much long-term advantage people like us have gotten by trying to be consistently not stupid, instead of trying to be very intelligent. Inversion forces you to spot risks, blind spots, and hidden obstacles before they destroy you. Rule 3. Stay within your circle of competence. Munger believed in a simple principle. Only invest in what you deeply understand. He called this your circle of competence. Here's the key: it's not about how big your circle is. It's about knowing its boundaries. The wealthy know exactly where their expertise ends, and they refuse to step beyond that line. They don't gamble on hot tips or trendy sectors they don't understand. Warren Buffett once said he'd rather work with someone who has an IQ of 130 and knows it than someone with an IQ of 180 who thinks it's 200. That second person will kill you with overconfidence. When Munger and Buffett passed on the dot-com bubble in the late 1990s, people mocked them. They said these old guys didn't understand technology. But Munger and Buffett weren't stupid. They knew these businesses were outside their circle of competence. When the bubble burst, they were proven right. Stay in your lane. Master it. Then expand only when you've truly earned the right. Rule 4. Focus on quality over quantity. Here's where Munger revolutionized value investing. Early in his career, Warren Buffett would buy mediocre companies at rock-bottom prices. Munger changed his mind with one simple insight. It's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. This shift transformed Berkshire Hathaway. Instead of diversifying across dozens of average investments, Munger concentrated on a handful of exceptional businesses with durable competitive advantages. What they called moats. Look at Munger's personal portfolio. He held just 3 major positions: Berkshire Hathaway, Costco, and Daily Journal. That's it. He called Costco a perfect damn company and held it for over 40 years. Not because it had the highest dividend yield, but because it had an unshakable business model, customer loyalty, and management with both talent and integrity. The wealthy understand this. Good investment opportunities are rare. When you find a truly great business at a reasonable price, you don't sprinkle a little money on it. You bet big. As Munger said, when the odds are greatly in your favor, bet heavily. Rule 5. Measure risk before reward. Most amateur investors fixate on potential returns. Professionals obsess over risk management. Munger's cardinal rule. All investment evaluations should begin by measuring risk, especially reputational risk. Why? Because you can't compound what you've lost. Protecting capital is the foundation of wealth accumulation. This is why Buffett's famous rules are: Rule number 1. Never lose money. Rule number 2. Never forget rule number 1. The ultra-wealthy think about downside first. They incorporate a margin of safety, a cushion between what they pay and what they believe something is worth. They avoid dealing with people of questionable character. They insist on proper compensation for risk. And most importantly, they avoid permanent capital loss at all costs. If you obsess over not screwing up, the wins will take care of themselves. Rule 6. Be patient and think long-term. Munger often said the big money isn't made in the buying and selling. It's made in the waiting. Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world, as Einstein noted, and you should never interrupt it unnecessarily. This requires extraordinary patience. During Munger's tenure, Berkshire Hathaway's stock declined by 50% 3 separate times. Did he panic? Not for a second. He said, "If you're not willing to react with equanimity to a market price decline of 50% 2 or 3 times a century, you're not fit to be a common shareholder." The wealthy have trained themselves to resist the natural human bias to act. They understand that patience and decisiveness are not opposites, they're complementary. You wait patiently for the right opportunity, then act decisively when it arrives. Rule 7. Prioritize learning over earning. Munger was a reading machine. He once said, "In my whole life, I have known no wise people who didn't read all the time, none, zero." The game of life, according to Munger, is the game of everlasting learning. You have to keep learning your whole life. He encouraged everyone to go to bed smarter than when you woke up. This isn't about collecting degrees or credentials. It's about cultivating intense curiosity and building wisdom incrementally, day after day, year after year. Munger developed his mental models over decades of voracious reading across multiple disciplines. The wealthy understand that wisdom acquisition isn't just a path to advancement. It's a moral duty. The more you learn, the better equipped you are to recognize opportunities others miss and avoid dangers others fall into. Charlie Munger's genius wasn't in being the smartest person in the room. It was in thinking better than everyone else. These 7 rules, his lattice work of mental models, inversion thinking, staying within his circle of competence, focusing on quality, measuring risk first, practicing patience, and never stopping learning, created an investment philosophy that generated billions. The rules are simple, but following them, that requires discipline most people will never develop. That's what separates the wealthy from everyone else. They don't just know these principles, they live them every single day. If you learned something new today, hit subscribe. I post clear, research-backed financial insights to help you make smarter decisions every week.